Greetings and welcome to Elisio's diecast videos, and let's talk about diecast. Hot Wheels is right now into their 2016-17 collection. I am currently at the B case. Some C cases have started to pop up in Asia and other parts of the world, and I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about some of the small changes done to the presentation, in some cases some castings. So this is the packaging for this year. As you can see, it's very similar from what we had in 2016. The first difference is about the number here. Previous years, the number of models, total models was 250. Sorry. This year, it jumped to 365. That doesn't mean we're going to have 365 models. What this means is that, contrary to previous years where variations were kept the same number, for example, this one is 71 at 2050, and the second color of this car was also 71 in 2050. Apparently this year, every different version will have a different number, thus the new higher number. That doesn't mean that all the cars will have two different colors, and I don't know if that includes the Zamax, for example, or because in that case that will mean the number between international market and American market will be either different or some numbers will be missing. So I don't know as of now. The rest is pretty much the same. The back has been changed a little bit. And you have some new collections like Factory Fresh debuting this year. That's new, and by the name I expect it is something to do with cars with very little tempos, like on the case of this Porsche 993 GT2, who looks like it's coming out of the factory. So that's pretty cool if they have a whole collection dedicated to that. Another new collection is this one, Legends of Speed. This is a new logo, and it debuts with this new car, new model for 2017, the Fairlady 2000. Pretty cool. I can't wait to open it. And another new collection is the return of the tuned cars. I loved the tuned cars. For me, last year I was wondering, instead of all those fantasy cars, I would love to have to see the return of the tuned cars. And somebody must have read my thoughts, or maybe I was reading the thoughts of some of the designers at Mattel, because here they are. So those are the two first released. This one was in the A case, this one in the B case. In the C case, there will be the Lamborghini Countach tuned. And so far, those are the only three I know of. One thing that is interesting is that for the past few years, there has been a lot of cutting measures installed at Hot Wheels and Matchbox. And those castings seem to show a lot of difference with the previous versions of these castings. It was first brought to my attention with this one, where some people noticed that this is different from previous years. So I wanted to see how different they were, and I got a previous version of the Dodge Charger and the Ford Mustang. Yes, the first thing to notice is that now this part, whereas it was part of the metal die cast in the original, it's now part of the base, and thus it is plastic. If you turn around, there's also a change here. It was full metal before, and now it's actually made of three pieces: metal, plastic, and another plastic for the spoiler. 3. So it's interesting because on one end there's less metal and more plastic, but then on the other hand it creates this variety in materials without having to resort to tempos or paint. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. The other thing is that there was only one rivet before here, and this was what was holding the casting in place, and now we have two rivets. But the changes don't stop there. Another thing I noticed is that here, as you can see, the engine, the blown engine, has been reduced drastically. You can see here on the side, it was really big, and the opening was big, and now the opening is, I would say, around 70% of what it was before, and a lot. The air vents or the air filters have been reduced quite a bit. So that's an interesting change. Everything else seems to be pretty much the same. But yeah, and for the charger, we have similar changes. So as you can see here on the back, all metal, plastic. Okay. On the front, not much has changed, but on the side, the exhausts here are actually bigger in the new version, whereas the engine is the same thing as with the Mustang, where it is smaller, as you can see here. Smaller in height and smaller in size. Here it covers almost all of the wood, whereas here you have quite some space on all of the sides. So interesting measures. I'm not sure if it's for the worst or for the best. It's different. The cars themselves still look pretty good. I have no complaint about that. And if you were not aware of the previous versions, I don't think you will have any gripe with those. So that's interesting. Like I said, this one has been confirmed in white, and I think it will be appearing in the C case. And it will be interesting to see if there has been any change. I expect this has changed because here we have a plastic wing, and it could be that it's now metal. But we'll see when we get it. Other models have been unconfirmed yet. We don't have a full list. Here are some of the older tuned cars. This is a Camaro. I would love to see this one return. The Pontiac GTO also, very cool. This one with the wheel riders. Very nice. I expect this engine to be smaller. And one that I'm pretty sure we will not see is, of course, any Ferrari, because no more license. Too bad. Another thing that I noticed is that last year, so we have here, as part of the HW Exotics, start at 71, 1 out of 10, and then it goes in order: 2, 3, 4, 71, 72, 74, so on, so forth. This year, so for example, we have here the Warthog. It's 1 of 10 as part of the HW screen time, and it's 2 out of 365. And here we have at 4 a different collection, a new collection, Xperi Motors, 1 out of 10. And then at 6 we have another different collection, 5 out of 10, and it's a tuned one. So it's not in sequence anymore. And like you can see here, you have the tuned here at 6, and we have another one tuned here at 27. What the hell? What is that? It's very confusing, and the only logic I can think of right now is that the number here is actually the number of release. As you can see, all these were part of the A case, and they all are low numbers. As we go into B case, we have higher numbers, and so on and so forth. So I expect, if this is true, then the number here is not the place in the collection anymore, is the actually gives you an insight into when it was released during the year. And so I expect the 365 to be part of the Q case in 2017. Weird. I prefer when it was like this, by collection. Easier to keep track. This is going to be a bit weird. Yeah, I don't really like it. It doesn't make much sense to me. What are your thoughts on that? That's about it. Another thing that I noticed for this year is some throwbacks to previous cars. So, for example, this one, the Porsche 993 GTD, we saw it quite a bit last year. It was part of the Porsche collection. It was batch B of car culture, and it was also a treasure hunt, a super treasure hunt in the main line. This year it returns in just orange, and it's interesting to see that it's the same orange as the Porsche 934 here, first edition, and it's also the same wheels, and that makes them pretty cool when you put them together. But there's another model who follows the same kind of logic. It's this one, the custom Acura Integra GSR with the Titane, I don't know, Titane sponsor, and it looks a lot like this, the Honda S2000, and they look very good together. So I don't know if they're going to be doing more like this, but it's an interesting thing to see. And to finish this off, I think I'm going to open a few of those, starting with the custom Integra. It debuted in yellow, then was the second color was white last year. This year it comes back with full tempos, but in the process lost the detail in the front and in the back that it had before. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's some interesting problem in the casting itself. Or maybe it's the paint, the way I think it's the paint. The way the paint has dried created this. Ooh, that's really weird. You see that? Yeah, didn't notice that in the package. Oh well, the car still looks awesome, and it looks really good with this one. Next, the Porsche 993 GT2. Probably one of my favorite versions so far, and I think I have all of them, or pretty much all of them. Looking really sharp. And here, yeah, they look good together. And last but not least, the Fair Lady 2000. This is a new model. So here it is, very nice casting, vintage yet sporty, nice details, very nicely detailed. All it needs is a little bit of paint to bring all those details out, and it will look awesome. It already looks awesome, but it will look even better. So yeah, 2016, new model. Nice. I can't wait to see the second color of this. Nice stance. Yeah, they could have made a stock version of this, but I like this race type of look. And like I said, this is part of Legends of Speed, so I'm curious to see what will be the next cars in this collection. And I might as well open the tuned cars that I showed you earlier. Here we go with the 68 Mustang. In a nice red. Yeah, I like the 3-part front. It works. Compared to the older one. Nice. And Dodge Charger Daytona. Always been one of my favorites from the tuned collection. Yeah, pretty cool. Does it feel lighter? No, hard to tell. See the difference in the engine? Big engine. So there you have it. Some tuned. I hope they're going to have a lot of maybe some new castings. That would be cool. Some new castings from the tune collection instead of recycling. And there you go. C case should be. I should be having my pick of C cases pretty soon. So stay tuned for more. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumb up if you did. And you can follow me also on Instagram at Elisio diecast for behind the scenes pictures. Sometimes I do some opening and other things that I don't do on the channel. So take care and see you again next time. Bye bye.